tell me, what are the things that, the big things that are the fundamental, foundational pillars of your success? What are the 3 or 4 things that you are just solid with that are difference makers?
Well, number one is you've got to be consistent. If consistency is not part of this regime of what you want to build, then I always tell people, check your dreams and then check your calendar. Because you're going to find out something about.
You'll see a lot, won't you?
You're going to see a lot about is the thing I really want to create. Is it match up in my daily activity? So we try to teach people, do one positive thing, even part-time. Do one positive thing for your business every single day. Whether that's a new customer or that's a new partner, whatever it might be, but one positive activity that grows your organization by one person. And that's not management, that's not inventory, that's not accounting. It's the growth related activity. Right. So I'd say that that's number one. Number two is you have to stay plugged in. If you don't, the moment you disengage, the moment you
from the calls, from the events, the activities, the communication, the relationships,
you're done. It's only a matter of time. And everybody thinks I can do this, I can do this, I can handle this. It is crucial that you stay plugged in. I mean, I remember early on, I'm talking 30 plus years ago, driving to events, I didn't have anybody to take, but I knew I needed to be there. And maybe I'd learned one phrase, maybe I'd learned one concept at that time. Or maybe somebody's story that night lifted me up who I hadn't met before. And it was a process of raising that consistency and staying plugged in, raised my belief just a little bit more. And that little lift in belief enabled me, number 2, to come home, take action, and then of course number 3, realize another successful experience. So stay plugged in, do something positive every single day, and thirdly, I'd say you've got to invest in yourself. In good books, in what you're reading, what you're listening to. Back to what Rich said. Build people, the people will build the business. And so we're trying to always make certain that personal development and reading and listening to professionals like yourself is always part of the equation.
So number 1 was consistency.
Consistency, yeah.
Number 2 was stay plugged in.
Stay plugged in, right.
And number 3, continue to invest in yourself.
Right.
Invest in you. Work on your skills. Work on your attitude.
Right.
Work on your emotions. Work on your
get better.
Everything. Just get better. A little bit every day.
Get better every day.
Yeah.
I think that's the magic. I mean, people want instant everything, and it's not that way. You know. I mean, but I remember in chapter 1, I remember an illustration that night where the guy that was speaking held his hands up and he said, I'm going to show you tonight a way to take what most people spend 40 years of their life doing, meaning what you have at the end of 40, right? And how you can squeeze that down into 5 to 7 years. I remember him holding his hands like that, and I thought, you know what, if that's true, I'm all in. I don't know what that is. I don't know how it works. I don't know what's involved, but I got to figure that out.
You know what? One thing, there's a lot of those old stories that we stopped doing.
Yeah. Yes, we do.
When was the last time you did that in a meeting?
Yeah. This?
Yeah.
I do this a lot.
Do that a lot?
Yeah.
All right. But a lot of those things, we become so cool.
Yeah. Oh, it's so slick.
We forgot the stuff that worked so good, or the stuff that impacted us.
Never forget.
I'm glad you continue to do that.
Never forget from whence,
to condense those things.
From whence we came.
Right.
I mean, I'll never forget the number $200. I mean, I started only with the belief that I could do that. But I started with that, okay? And when I made 2, I figured out how to make 4. And I made 4, I thought, wow, maybe I could make $800.
Yep.
Are you kidding? $800? I only made $1,000 a month as an entry-level engineer at the time.
And part-time, you can make an extra $800.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
Exactly. So I think it's so critically important that we never forget that.
Yeah. So I'm a huge fan of defining moments. These stories that happen in our life that change everything, that have an impact on our families, have an impact on us.
Yeah.
When I'm kind of mentioning that, does something come to mind?
Well, for sure. For us as a family, we had an almost tragic experience happen. We were actually on our way to a family reunion in July of 2005, and we had landed in South Carolina. We were driving up Highway 17 at night, and there was it had stormed that night, and there was nobody on the road. It was a 2-lane highway going each way. And Bethany was in the front seat, and our 3 kids, Chris, Brad, and Amy, were in the back. We're in a large SUV, and I remember as we're going along, going about 60 miles an hour, and all of a sudden I saw this large black area in front of me, and I thought, what in the world is that? And before I knew it, it was on us. Well, it was 3 feet of standing water that was on the freeway.
No. At 60?
At 60 miles an hour. Well, we hit the brakes, and we hit it, and we began to spin, of course. Hit the car spun, hit the side of the road, went up in the air, barrel rolled 3 times, and we landed upside down in 6 feet of water. Now, it's pitch black at night, and I remember, I think actually when my side of the car had hit the pavement, it blew out the windshield. I'd hit the side of my head. I think I'd gone unconscious till we landed upside down in the water. And I remember the water all over my face, because it kind of woke me up, and I thought, gosh, there's water on my face. But I didn't realize we were underwater, and I took a deep breath, my lungs filled up, and I was gone. I was out. And I don't remember anything actually until waking up in the hospital. But as it turned out, Bethany and I, we really call that a night of miracles, because it was. We remember that seeing, as she told me later on, we saw a car in the rearview mirror. It was a lady that was on her way home from work. It was 12:30 at night. She had seen us go off the road, and she'd called 911, and because Bethany, as the car was filling up, we're upside down, right? It's pitch black. The kids had about this much air. Their heads were up like this, just able to breathe. And Bethany remembered just all of a sudden saying, "Oh my gosh, we're going to drown." And then she remembered her kids, and she said a prayer, and in an instant, she was out of the car. She does not know how she got out of the car. She later, the next day, when they towed the car, fast forward, and they saw the automobile, that her seatbelt was still fastened across the back of the seat. So she got out of the car, and then Chris, our oldest son, was able to swim out, and Brad swam out and went back in the car to save his sister's life, because she was panicked. Her hip was dislocated, and so he went back in and gashed up his back going back into the car to get her out. In the meantime, I remember trying to reach for the seatbelt before, but the seatbelt was jammed, and so I was underwater for about 6 minutes, and 2 guys appeared up on the side of the road by the time, and they weren't the people from that car. Bethany actually doesn't remember who they were, and she said, "My husband's trapped in the car," and they ran down with, like she always says, she loves Southern boys with guns and knives, because he had a pocket knife. I don't know if you ever tried to cut a seatbelt. It's not easy to do, but he cut through that seatbelt, and they lifted me out and took me back up, and by that time, a sheriff who we become a great friend with actually was there on the scene, and he started to try to revive me. And anyway, the long and the short of the story is those 2 guys that we tried to find the next day. Of course, I'm in intensive care. Brad goes back with his uncle the next day to the accident scene, because all of our luggage is in the water, and those 2 guys are back up on the side of the road the next day, and tapped Brad on the shoulder and said, "We're the guys that helped your dad get out last night." And we later tried to find those guys, could never find them, as it turns out. Long and the short of the story is it was a night of miracles for our family, and I am on overtime. I'm definitely in overtime, because we know that the good Lord gave our family a second chance that night, and an opportunity really the message to be able to do something. And we often think and pray about that, about, what do you want us to do in terms of being able to make a difference. And so it was a night of miracles for our family, and the opportunity to say, well, Lord, you're not done with us yet, so there must be something else we need to do.
I love it.
Yeah.
Well, what a great story.
Yeah.
And what a great purpose. I think we're all here for a reason. We're all here for a purpose. If a test to see if our mission on life is done is if we're alive, it's not done.
Exactly.
We still got some stuff left to do.
Yep.
And I know you guys are making a lot of money, and right now I know it's also not about the money.
Yes.
I know it's about legacy. It's about contribution. It's about giving back. It's about how many other people you can help.
Yeah.
I get that.
It's really about, for us, giving back.
Yeah.
The analogy we use is, hey, we're going to climb the ladder, and then we're going to turn around and we're going to hold the ladder for you.
And we're going to show you how to do it.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, one of my friends in the business is making $1 million a month in network marketing. The reason he decided to make that happen is he wants to make $1 million a month normal. He just wants to, to where if you're making $1 million a year, that's everywhere.
Yeah.
It's just everywhere.
Yeah.
And network marketing can give it to everybody.
That's right.
We have the vehicle.
That's right.
To be able to do it. We've got the skill set to be able to do it. We've got the vehicle to be able to do it. We just got to go do it.
Just make it happen.
Right?
That's right.
So thank you for your contribution.
Oh my gosh.
To the profession. I know that millions of lives have changed because of you and just your decision to be an ambassador, to be a leader, to be a gentleman in the profession. I haven't heard a single bad word ever spoken about you.
Oh.
All I hear is people say, the guy's got a heart of gold. He'd give you the shirt off his back. He's a gentleman in the profession, and that's all anybody ever says about you and your family.
Thank you so much. We appreciate it. Appreciate you, Eric, and all you're doing.
It's my pleasure.
You're making a huge impact. We appreciate
We're doing it together.
Absolutely, we are.
All right.
Absolutely, we are.
Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you got value from this. If you did, comment below. Send Tom some love. Share this with your friends. And ladies and gentlemen, our wish for you is that you decide to become a network marketing professional. You decide to go pro, because it is a stone cold fact that we've got a better way. Now let's go tell the world. Everybody have a great day. We'll see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.